Hey everyone, this is the Disjunct Diary, and this episode is for October 30th, 2019. So, I gotta be honest, I'm just doing this because I'm fucking bored. Um, and, I don't know, I feel like I always post about things that I'm doing online, on Instagram, on Facebook, and things like that, but I'm never really showing people who I am, I guess, as a person. And it's difficult for me to be able to try to talk to people on Instagram when I have like about a minute or so. And, you know, I have to be showing my face, and it's just kind of awkward to like look at the camera. I don't know, it's just not me. Um, Especially when I'm completely aware that it's like pointed right at my face as I'm doing it. Just camera shy. But I think it's a little bit easier for me to talk when I don't have to worry about that. I don't have that kind of pressure. Just the voice, looking at the microphone that I've been using for a long time to record things. And yeah, um, so Disjunct. Um, a lot of people kind of ask me, like what that means, like why I'm using it. Disjunct Records is the name of the little record label, quote unquote, type of thing that I'm trying to start. Been working at it a little bit more this year than the past years, but it's been an idea for a while. And I don't know, I first heard the term when I was going to college. I had a music teacher. It was like the history of music, so I was learning about the earliest like forms of recorded, not orally recorded like in a CD or a tape or a record or anything like that, but written down type things, um, all the way from ancient Greece until modern age. But I remember once it went from monophonic chants to something a little bit more um, complicated, polyphonic, polyphony, and things like that. I remember he mentioned that there was a term for using melody lines and things like that that just had big jumps in it, and he called it disjunct melody lines. And I had never heard that word before, and it kind of stuck with me. And I guess the purpose of the of using disjunct in this music thing that I'm trying to do is just to kind of show that I don't want to be stuck kind of like doing one thing all the time. I like a lot of different kinds of music. I can't say I like everything, but whatever I do like, I try to incorporate it into the music that I'm making. And for that reason, I feel like in a way like that's kind of like, you know, pointing to that, like don't expect a certain thing for too long. Um, and at the same time, like I don't know if there's that many people out there expecting anything, you know. Part of the reason that I want to do this in the first place is just because, you know, at this point, really, what do I have to lose? I hope that I can, grow this and just grow the music thing that I'm doing because, for a long time now, my goal has been to try to make this music thing into an actual career. And this is just kind of one more thing, to add a little bit more of a dimension to what I've been doing, just both with, my own thing and with Zaster as well. Um, and I don't want to make this too long. This is the first kind of thing, and I'm just kind of getting used to this. So, part of the goal, too, like I said, is for me to show myself a little bit more and for people to kind of get a better sense of who I am. Um, so I'm thinking at some point maybe it'd be cool to like, ask like on Instagram stories. Sometimes you can see. Sometimes I flip through people's stories and they have like this thing where like you can ask them questions and they answer on there. And maybe instead of doing something like that, like, or maybe I could try to do something like that, like where I ask it on the stories, but then I just kind of screenshot them and answer them on here. Trying to do this semi regularly, so maybe I'll do this once a week, maybe. I'll see. Just depending on, how people kind of think that, just depending on how people like this or not. I don't know. But yeah, I'd like to try to talk about, a lot of different things, of course, first and foremost, music. Um, if you guys want to, talk about anything in particular, bands or genres of music or, new releases that are coming out, I'd be down to check out stuff if you guys, want to send it to me, I would like to be truthful about everything, I don't want to tell you guys that I like something if you guys send it to me and I didn't really like it that much or something. But yeah, that's that's pretty much like I guess like the introduction segment of this. Um, I guess I could also just talk about what's been going on day to day. I guess week to week since I'm not gonna be doing it every single day. Um, so I don't want to throw out too specific of certain things just because of privacy and things like that. But I work. On top of doing this music stuff, I work a day job. Actually, just came home from it. Um, Not even like half an hour ago. Um, I live up in North Dakota, currently Bismarck, but I'm originally from Fontana, California. Um, and I moved here just this last January. And yeah, I'm not used to this weather. It was really cold when I got here. It was like, on average, it was like negative 20 during January. And at the coldest, it went down to like negative 40, I think, sometime in February or March, which was crazy. I've never felt anything, lower than like 30 degrees or something like that, going to Big Bear or something like that in California. So I was not prepared. And honestly, I'm still not even prepared how it is now. Like, I haven't bought any winter wear since I've been here. All I have is just some leather jacket and like a pullover sweater. But, I figure it's probably, I'm supposed to be going back to, the LA, San Bernardino area by March. So, I don't know, I figured it'd probably be not that great to, not such a good idea to get such a big, heavy coat for that, just this little stretch of time. Kind of in the home stretch, or at least I'm going to keep telling myself that while it's, getting closer and closer to the negatives. Today, it was like, 18, 15 degrees or something like that. And, ooh, my job requires me to go outside. I have to, like, get groceries. We're doing this thing, where it's like an online type of thing. And people order their groceries and you have to go out and get it for them. It's tiring, but there's nothing, even when it was hot, or just not cold. I always hated going out there, and not because of the people. I like talking to people, being nice and stuff like that. But man, it's so tiring. And sometimes like there's a whole bunch of different, like there's 10 spots there for people to park, and sometimes they'll all get filled up like in an instant. So the pressure is just crazy to gather everything up and go out there and try not to look so freaking tired as you're trying to load everything up. But right now the main obstacle is the coldness. And yeah, you just come in and your hands are all chapped from the cold wind and shit, and your lips are all dried out, and your face just looks like it's starting to crack like the floor of a desert. It's crazy. But, you know, every now and again, it's good to have a little break from it. I got to go over to Minneapolis this weekend. Um, my girl, she had a gallery, her first one over there in Minneapolis this weekend. Her friend Ashley helped her out, and she let us to stay at her place, which I'm really thankful for. Yeah, and it was fun. We went to Mall of America, and there was a mirror maze, and like they told us, like they gave us these weird, like really overly big plastic gloves that we had to put on because they didn't want us like smearing the mirrors with our hands, because you have to keep your hands out. Like, there was so many mirrors there that you couldn't really tell where you could go forward until you almost hit the wall. So, you had to go like really slow with your hands stretched out like a mummy or something like that. And we try to our strategy was to go in together holding hands, and I use my hand and I use my left hand, she uses her right hand, and we just keep going, trying to tell each other whenever we hit a window. And at some point we got turned around and we ended up leading ourselves back out to the entrance. And it took us twice as long to get out, and right when we went in, a family of 3 went in, mother, father, and a little kid. He must have been 5 years old, and they did it so quickly. Before we knew it, they were just completely gone. And yeah, that was crazy. And after that, I went over to a music store, and it felt great to be able to see a music store that had a lot of different stuff. There was this place in Bloomington, Minneapolis, I believe, called Groth Music, and they had a lot of cool instruments. They had all the usual stuff that you'd expect at any other guitar center, but on top of that, they had huge sections of African instruments and stuff like that, things I've never seen. And I didn't see the name on them anywhere, so I couldn't tell you, but it was a lot of percussion instruments that were just really crazy looking. A lot of South American things too. Just these huge sections with like bongos and conga drums and stuff like that. And while we were there, I actually got a pedal. I haven't shown it yet or anything like that. I might post it on Instagram and stuff like that because I'm pretty excited about it. It's the DS1, the Boss distortion pedal, and I really like it. Before this, I had I had the plan to buy a Tube Screamer clone, which the Ibanez Tube Screamer is pretty freaking great sounding too. It sounds just like classic rock stuff, and lately I've been listening to a lot of that. A lot of Zeppelin, Judas Priest, and Iron Maiden, and things like that. At work, since I have long hair, I can hide my earphones so nobody can see that I'm listening to music. And I've been doing that for months now. I've been doing it since May or something like that. So I'm pretty good at it now. I can hide it pretty well. And yeah, it just gave me that itching feeling again of wanting to have a distortion pedal, because when I moved up here, I had to send all my clothes and things like that through the mail, and I couldn't send an amp over here. It would have cost way too much. So right now all I have here is what I have for my makeshift kind of studio, which is just plugging straight into the DI for electric guitar and bass and things like that. So the built-in distortion effects to all these recording workstations that I have, they're just not very good. And this one right here, I think it sounds pretty good. At first, I was a little bit like, when I tried it, but then I messed with the dials a little bit, like getting the distortion kind of higher up and then putting the tone down. Even though it sounds a little bit, not as potent, if you can kind of like, I tried this yesterday actually. If you can put them, if you can put like a less, I don't know, call it tinny kind of sound, and then on one side pan it over to the left or something, then you grab another one that's a little bit more tinny or higher, more high end in it, and put it a little bit more to the right side, and just kind of try to blend them together to where one of them doesn't stand out a lot more than the other. It actually gets a pretty decent sound out of it, and it just reminds me of British steel, like that powerful kind of like classic, like early new wave of British heavy metal distortion, and it's so freaking cool. And it just made me realize now too that I want to get a reverb pedal, because yeah, they're not very good. The effects aren't very good on my workstations here, and I don't know if I want to spend the money to get something like that. I'd rather get it as a real piece of hardware equipment, because I've been having a little bit of doubts about this computer too. Might be kind of crashing on me soon. Just been trying to back everything up as I've been working on it. It's like every day is just kind of a question mark on it, but hopefully I'll get everything done. I'm working on, my solo album. I'm working on, the album with, like, for the band. I'm starting off the recordings, doing the guitar and the bass stuff, and then I'm going to be sending it over to Scott to do all the, all his parts, and just kind of bouncing it back and forth like that through the mail. So, yeah. And, I guess I'll be giving more updates on that, as we go along with this. It's kind of, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting a little bit, like, I'm running out of things to say, even though usually I can't shut the fuck up when Lauren's here. But, yeah, I think this is a good enough length for now. If anybody hears this long into it, I really appreciate it. I don't even know if I should hear this back, or else I might be giving myself second thoughts at the end of this. But yeah, maybe next week I'll try to do it a little bit longer. Just keep increasing, and maybe as I get better at this, even though there's no camera, I'm still getting a little bit, like, I don't know, talk shy or something like that. I'm not really much of a talker, like, as far as recording it and hearing it back goes, but I don't know, whatever. I mean, I have to start sometime. I need to get better at this. A lot of this is for self-improvement. But anyway, I'll leave you guys at that. Yeah, so I'll try to do this next week. Try to do it, like on Wednesdays consistently if I can. So yeah, I'll see you guys then. Thank you.